My fellow investors, fellow Jamaicans, let's be real for a second. If you spend 5 minutes scrolling through the real estate listings in Jamaica lately, you probably feel like you're looking at a comedy script. But there's nobody laughing, I can tell you that. Because we're seeing studio apartments in Kingston 6 and Kingston 8 going for like 40, 50, even $60 million. At this point, for most of us at least, owning a piece of the rock feels like a distant fantasy. It kind of feels like the ladder has been pulled up from us, just as the generations start to climb. But there's a new concept popping up in the conversation, and it's called shell apartments. Now, the whole idea of shell apartments has been making waves with developers like this new company that just came about, Different Capital. And it's basically a radical, quote unquote, less is more approach. But in a market where even a basic starter home is priced like a mansion, we have to ask, is this actually a lifeline? Or just a new way to sell us less for more? Now in this video, we're going to break down the unfinished housing model being pushed by firms like Different Capital. We're going to explore whether a concrete box with no tiles, cabinets, or fixtures is actually a smart move or a recipe for a 30-year headache. If you want more videos like this, please hit that like and subscribe to the channel now. It will really help our community grow. Plus, you will receive notification when we release more content like this in the future. So, what exactly are we talking about when we talk about shell apartments? A shell apartment is the structural bones of a home. The developer gives you the foundation, the external walls, the roof, the windows, and a front door that actually locks. But once you turn that key and you step inside, it's a total blank slate. We're talking about raw concrete floors, exposed blackwork, and plumbing pipes just sticking out of the ground. There are no porcelain tiles, no granite countertops, no designer bathroom fixtures, and definitely no mahogany cabinetry. You don't even get a lick of paint on the inside. It might sound a bit rugged, right? But there's a very specific, very Jamaican reason why people are getting excited about this raw concrete box. It all comes down to the math of the turnkey markup. When a developer sells you a finished unit, they're not just charging you for the materials. They're charging you for the labor to install them, and then they're slapping on like a 15 to 20% profit margin on top of everything. They are essentially acting like a high-priced interior decorator that you did not hire. By stripping away all of that, a shell apartment can be 30 up to 40% cheaper than a finished one. We're talking about taking a $35 million price tag and potentially knocking it down to $22 or $24 million. For a young professional or a first-time buyer, that difference is not just savings. It's the difference between getting a mortgage and being told no by the bank. Now, this is where the classic Jamaican sweat equity come in. Where people know how to make a way. We know how to juggle. Almost everybody have a cousin who is a tiler, an uncle who is a plumber, or a little link at a little local hardware store where we can get a discount on a pallet of cement. The idea is that you buy the shell and you finish it at your own pace, on your own budget. You might even decide to live with the bare concrete floors for a year while you save up for those specific tiles that you saw on Pinterest. Or maybe you can put in a basic plywood kitchen for now and you upgrade to your dream setup 5 years later. It shifts the power from the developer back to you. You decide where every dollar goes. And you are not just paying interest on a luxury kitchen for the next 30 years. But let's just hold on and pause for a second, because we need to talk about the thorns in this rose. The biggest headache is definitely the banks. In Jamaica, the NHT and most commercial banks want a place to be habitable before they fully sign off. If there's no functioning toilet or running water, they might refuse to close the loan. Now, this can create a massive gap for people who don't have a few $1 million in cash to do the initial quote-unquote livable work. Then there's the reality of project management. When a developer finishes 50 units, they get wholesale prices. But when you go to buy one tile at $10 a tile, you're going to be paying retail price. Plus, let's be honest here, managing Jamaican contractors can be a full-time job. If you are not savvy, you might find that the savings that you gain are quickly swallowed up by the cowboy workmen and wasted materials. You also have to think about the community vibe. If an entire complex is sold as shells, you're basically moving into a construction site. You're going to be hearing hammers and drills at 7 a.m. for the next 3 to 4 years, while every neighbor tries to finish their unit at their own pace. It's a trade-off. Do you want peace and quiet? Or do you want a mortgage you can actually afford? Despite the stress, the shell model represents a necessary shift. For too long, we have tried to build luxury for everyone, and the result is that nobody can afford anything. We have lost that start-at-home vibe that our parents had. Those simple schemes where you get the basics and you add on over time. The shell apartment is basically a vertical version of that old-school Jamaican dream. It's for the person who is willing to get their hands dirty and build their future one tile at a time. It's for the person who are tired of paying somebody else's mortgage and rent and just want a piece of paper that says, "This is mine," even if it is currently just a raw concrete box. It's about getting your foot in the door before that door is locked forever. So, is this the answer to the crisis? It's not a panacea. It's not a magic bullet. But it's a tool we desperately need. It's going to take the banks getting more creative and the government offering better incentives for entry-level bills. But for the average Jamaican trying to survive this 2026 market, it might be the only part left that does not involve winning the lottery. I want to hear from you guys though. Would you take the risk? Would you buy a shell at a 30% discount and deal with the headache of finishing it yourself? Or is the move-in ready convenience worth the extra $10 million in debt? Drop a comment below and let's get into it. This housing situation affects all of us. And the more we talk about these alternatives, the more pressure we put on the system to change. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit that like button and subscribe. We're going to keep diving into the real side of the Jamaican economy. Thanks for watching, and hit the link on screen now to watch another Jamaican financial content. Catch you in the next one.